Ukrainian forces are fighting to hold onto the Kursk region, repelling continuous attacks by the Russians. The fighting on this section of the front is reaching its peak intensity. As CNN reported, the Russians have stepped up their assaults. For example, on Sunday, 5 Russian soldiers tried to advance but were spotted by drones with night vision devices. The group was eliminated. I have the impression that the Russians have an unlimited number of people. They send groups of which almost no one survives. The next day, they send out new groups. These people, it seems, do not even know what happened to the previous ones, says Alexander, commander of the 225th Airborne Assault Battalion. The Ukrainian occupation of parts of the Kursk region has lasted for almost 4 months. The August invasion was a tactical success for Kiev, but also drew criticism for the high cost, significant losses in manpower and armor. Alexander says, "I don't know what the real goal is. Maybe we should stay here for 4 months and then turn around and leave. If the goal is to hold out until a certain point, we'll do it." Supporters of the operation believe that control over this territory gives Kyiv leverage for further negotiations, possibly involving newly elected US President Donald Trump. Alexander believes that the West must fulfill its promises made in 1994 within the framework of the Budapest Memorandum. "You took away our nuclear weapons, you promised us protection. Keep your word. They are cutting us down, and you are still playing with your interests." He emphasizes Ukrainian troops clash with Russian paratroopers, Chechens, and African mercenaries. Alexander noted that he did not see the North Korean soldiers who were allegedly transferred to Kursk. "When we catch them or see the body, then I will know for sure that they are here," he said. The fighters of Alexander's unit experienced significant exhaustion, 3 days without sleep, 8 months on the front lines, participation in fierce battles in Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Chasiv Yar. The equipment that managed to get through unloaded the infantry. "Then we finished them off, and this went on for almost 24 hours, said the drone operator with the call sign JS. Ukrainian forces, while confident in their ability to hold their ground, acknowledge the challenges, but control of the Kursk region remains critical to future political and military decisions.
President-elect Donald Trump is demanding the immediate release of Israeli hostages still being held in Gaza, saying that if they are not freed before he is sworn into office for a second term there will be hell to pay. Please let this truth serve to represent that if the hostages are not released prior to January 20, 2025, the date that I proudly assume office as President of the United States, there will be all hell to pay in the Middle East, and for those in charge who perpetrated these atrocities against humanity, Trump wrote in a post on his Truth Social site. He added that, those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America. Release the hostages now. It was not immediately clear whether Trump was threatening to directly involve the U.S. military in Israel's ongoing campaign against Hamas in Gaza. Trump allies have said he hopes there will be a ceasefire and hostage release deal before he returns to office early next year. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office declined comment. But the country's president, Isaac Herzog, welcomed Trump's comments in a social media post. "Thank you and bless you, Mr. President-elect at Real Donald Trump," he wrote on X. "We all pray for the moment we see our sisters and brothers back home." The war in Gaza began when Hamas-led militants stormed into southern Israel, killing some 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and taking around 250 people hostage on October 7, 2023. Some 100 are still held inside Gaza, around 2/3 believed to be alive. Trump's threat came hours after the Israeli government confirmed the death of Omer Nutra, a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen, whose body is still believed to be held by Hamas in Gaza, according to the Israeli government. Days earlier, Hamas released a hostage video of Eden Alexander, who was serving in the Israeli military when he was taken by Hamas to Gaza. Filmed under apparent duress, Alexander calls on Trump to work to negotiate for his freedom and that of the remaining Hamas hostages. The Biden administration is mounting a last-ditch effort to try to restart talks between Israel and Hamas now that it has brokered a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. But the administration has said that Hamas has yet to show a willingness to re-engage in negotiations and that the group isn't concerned for its own lives or the lives of Gaza civilians. Israel's retaliatory offensive for the attack has left at least 44,429 Palestinians dead, according to Gaza's health ministry. The war has destroyed vast areas of the coastal enclave and displaced 90% of its population of 2.3 million people, often multiple times.